Yo, 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 what is up? Um, so I just finished. I don't know how it kind of spiraled into this kind of topic, but I was listening to some Nirvana today. Um, I want to say I'm a massive fan of them, to be honest with you. I love their music, but I wouldn't say I'm like a big fan because I only know like a few of their songs, but their songs are deep, like really good. But yeah, I started listening to them, and then I kind of started to go through a bit of research about Kurt Cobain because I realised, obviously, I knew that he committed suicide, but I didn't know too much about him in general, and I never really listened to his interviews. But I started listening. I listened to one interview of him, and yeah, he's just a very bold character. He's not. I don't know how to say. He's not very loud. He's just very chill. He's always smoking. He's probably high or on drugs or something. But yeah, super interesting. And then it was weird because he was kind of talking about suicide, and it was damn, this is quite deep. But his interviewer, this is for MTV. His interviewer was actually pretty decent to him. When I was listening to it, I think at one point Kurt was like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about this," and the interviewer was like, "Okay, fine." And I was like, "Yeah, that's good. Game on." Yeah, that's a good interview, I reckon. So that was that, and then I started looking into his ex-wife. Is it ex-wife? I don't know how it works, but it was his wife at the time, Courtney Love, and I always knew her kind of reputation of being. I don't really know how to explain it. She just, I don't even know how to. She's always allegedly, in my opinion, I feel like she's always probably on something. But they're rock stars. I mean, they were rock stars. What do you expect in the 90s? And my kind of first encounter with Courtney Love was when I listened to. Well, I actually watched the Pamela Anderson roast. I didn't watch it at the time because I was way too young. Actually, when did that Pamela Anderson roast happen? When did Pamela Anderson roast happen? I want to say 2004. 2005, yes, I was super young. But yeah, I watched it maybe 6 years after that. I was still young, to be fair. And that was a really good roast, I have to admit. Maybe I'll do a video about roast because, damn, is it the MTV or whatever you called Comedy Central roast? That was lit. It was so good. But yeah, that was one of the good ones. And Courtney Love was on it, and she was friends with Pamela. And she was just gone. Basically every kind of roast these celebrities were saying about Courtney Love involved drugs. So yeah, but super interesting. And then I watched an interview of her with Barbara Walters, and it's funny because Barbara Walters, it's not funny, but I mean, she passed away I think this year or last year, and she got a lot of appraisal. Yeah, she got a lot of appraisal, and I saw this interview that got quite a lot of views, I have to admit, with Courtney Love and Barbara Walters. And then yeah, I watched it, and damn, I don't know what to say, man. I watched it, and Barbara, Courtney, she's just sipping on literal tea, and then the first things Barbara says is "Are you on cocaine?" And these is really invasive questions, really invasive. It's always awkward to listen to. So I listened to it, and it was shocking, to be honest with you. Some of these questions Barbara's asking, she was at one point asking, are you the reason why basically Kurt died? And she starts crying, and it's damn, they really aired this, And from my perspective, if I was a celebrity and someone's asking me these kind of questions, I would just walk away. But they do. These celebrities will just go on. And then it reminded me of other interviews done by, I think they're called I don't know what they're called, journalists, I presume. You have obviously, like, in my opinion, like, genuinely, in my opinion, one of the worst. Well, she's not the worst, like, she's super successful, but she's just, like, some of the rudest interviews I've seen this person do is Diane Sawyer. I mean, God, Diane Sawyer, no. But yeah, she did an interview with Whitney Houston. Remember Whitney Houston? Yeah, Britney Spears. And yeah, man, you guys, they get these celebrities, really famous ones, and they just, like, straight up get really, ask some really intimate, dark questions. And these are questions that you just wouldn't have people naturally ask you unless you're, like, a really, really close, like, a family member or friend or something. But even then, I presume people would ask you really sensitive questions in a way, they would tell it in a way that is, like, calming, and they would make it really lead up to it, I presume. But these interviews, they just go straight into it. And, one thing people don't necessarily realise about these people is, yes, like, they are very, I mean, I think it's pretty rude, but at the end of the day, I have to look at it from their perspective, and I mean, that is their job description, right? I mean, they are there to, what's the phrase? They're there to get the headline, in a way. That's kind of, I'm pretty sure how that industry works. You want to, newspapers and this is back in 2000s or 90s, but yeah, you want to eventually get the headline that is going to sell and is going to be, front covers, I presume. And as a result, when you have people like Diane Sawyer, Barbara Walls, asking these questions, I mean, yeah, that is literally their job. Their job is to get controversial stuff out of celebrities. So it's a bit weird, like, and I was thinking to myself, because they only really did this to females, really think about it. I think of Britney, Whitney, yeah, and then, Courtney Love. I can't think of any, like, male celebrities who really got scrutinising interviews. Yeah, like, on the top of my head, I don't know. But I always find it just a bit interesting. But yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, really? But in my head, I was thinking, like, could I really do these kind of things? Like, if I had a job super well paying, I got basically Barbara's job and I was interviewing celebrities, like, could I really do that? I really don't think I could, because whilst I want to obviously do things to get paid, I really do try to do things ethically in a way, and I really mean that. Like, I really don't do, like, that kind of stuff. And these people, I mean, these, Diane, these lot, they know what they're doing, and they probably get paid a lot of money to do it, and that's why they get these top celebrities. But I was thinking about nowadays, really, because these are all, like, the ones I'm referencing, these are all, like, like 90s, maybe, well, especially the 2000s, like early 2000s. They're quite old now, right? And I was thinking to myself, is this something that really happens, nowadays? And I can't really remember a time when there was a really, like, an interview that they really tried to ask really patronising, deep questions to someone. I really don't know. I just don't think it really happens nowadays. I'm not really sure why. I think it's good, to be fair. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's more, I feel bad for these celebrities sometimes, because, a lot of it for these ones is about drugs and relationships, death. It is deep stuff, and they just have to just do it and answer it, and then they start crying, and then they start to like almost get defensive, some of these celebrities, and then it's weird because then the interview will start backfiring and saying why, but then what do you expect? But that's just kind of my 2 cents. So to give my opinion, like, it doesn't matter my opinion, but I think, I don't even think it's entertaining to listen to some of these interviews. It's really kind of sad when you listen to it, but not good. I'm not about that. If I got paid $1 million, would I do that? Like, ask these celebrities really weird questions like that? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and yeah, peace, bye.